welcome out to JK Armament today. This is our Tribal Knowledge Podcast, and today we have on Ian from Trijicon. Welcome out. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so we're just going to jump right in. You're the product manager over there right now, currently, right?
Yep, product management for iron sights, mounts, and accessories, and then our company, Ameriglow, down in Georgia.
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm just going to throw it out there because I heard that you drew a couple reticles over the years.
I have, yeah. So I started in Trijicon as an R&D engineer, was there for 11 years, did multiple iterations of like ACOG reticles back here, and then future iterations of like the ACOG, like our VCOG product and some of that newer stuff. So yeah, multiple years of reticle design. So, and then recently jumped into product management about 2 years ago now. So it's a new entity for me. So it's awesome. Loving it so far. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably looked through an ACOG enough to get like what you drew burned on my eyeball. Right. Like, yeah. A lot of hours looking through ACOGs are great. What an amazing tool. I mean,
yeah, thanks.
True staple, right, in our industry. Yeah. Like, if I have an AR and I need to go do work, and it's like I can only pick one optic today that has to last forever, I'm grabbing that ACOG. Like,
yeah, and you can use them for anything on anything you really need, right? Depending on what you want, size-wise, magnification-wise. There's an iteration that we've got that would support whatever you need to do with it. So it's a great system for sure. Great little optic.
Yeah, great concept. Like, strength versus like, you know, some magnification.
Yeah,
it just works. So good job on that.
Yeah, I didn't design it. That was Glenn Binden. He did a great job on that. Well, I just did some recent iterations of it, but yeah, he did a great job designing those initially.
That reticle's key too.
Yeah,
you know, taking a guy that doesn't necessarily understand all ballistics and how bullet flies, and making that easy for someone was key too.
Oh, making the BDC was money for sure. You just range estimate, and then you have that drop right there baked in for you. It's makes it so much faster, more effective.
It is,
yeah.
We've talked on some of the podcasts before, but I spent some time on Abrams and in Bradley's in the Army, and all the different choke reticles and Christmas tree reticles they've been using since the 40s, you know. And
oh yeah, for sure.
It took us forever to get them into a rifle scope for some reason, but they work, right? Like having those reference points that are measurable are key.
Yeah, getting that into like essentially what is a first focal plane system in that ACOG size package was critical in doing that. So that allowed you to get that reticle baked in on that target in such a short package, where generally, like, a lot of stuff was second focal plane up to that point, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So,
and don't dare drop it. Don't be rough with it. You know, like, hey, it's gonna move.
Yeah.
Once you get it sighted in, like, carry it like a baby, to where it's like, no, do whatever you guys need to do. It's gonna stay.
Yeah.
That was a huge jump.
Yeah.
Because before then, we couldn't use it in that space because it wouldn't stay. Couldn't hold zero, right?
Yeah, and like our rugged testing is, we do some serious testing on stuff that we run through.
Guys go.
Serious, like water immersion, drop testing, shock testing. We do some pretty awesome stuff when you look at it like that.
Yeah. It's been tested out, right? Like it.
Yeah, battle proven for sure.
Yeah, battle proven. It worked, right?
Yeah, big time.
Still in operation all over the world. So
yeah, even today, like they sell great. They move and they protect people that are using them. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we wanted to kind of bring you on today. You came out we did a duck hunt and a goose hunt, right? The last couple of days.
Yeah.
And we brought Brett out with you, and we kind of did this combination of shotgun, red dot, suppressor.
Right. Like talking innovative product stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like future tech stuff. It's great.
Yeah. We didn't let's just talk about it and have our opinions on it. We just hey, show up and let's go shoot them.
Right.
Like, we didn't spend a bunch of time at the skeet range, or we didn't even go.
No, yeah.
We screwed it all together and went out and sat in the duck blind, right?
Yeah, and hunted.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Yep, zeroed them and went out and wanted to see how everything integrated together, and it's amazing setup. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Being a duck hunter and a goose hunter for years, going out there, sitting next to guys with earmuffs in, where you have to take them out to talk to somebody. Where we were just talking down a row of 7 guys the other day, and geese would come in, and it was, you could hear everything. You could hear wing beats, and then, all right, go, take them, and then everyone would shoot, and you didn't have this ringing in your ears. It was absolutely amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
That integration of the red dot, we were kind of talking a little bit earlier. It wasn't, well, I joined the Army like 2002, right after 9/11. We were basically pretty much standardized using irons, right?
Yep.
I mean, and back then it was the aim point that we used. The M68 was coming in, and there was a lot of pushback from like the old guys, right? So I was the young guy. I was the private. I'm like, this is cool. What is this thing, you know? And
Yeah.
a lot of those, it was funny how like it came in and people are trying to zero them and do different things and like, oh, you know, move the red dot onto your front sight and do all these different things and how to, what's the proper way. No one wanted to open the book, you know, like a bunch of guys.
It stinks
like,
because it takes a long time to make those things.
Yeah, you know, I was like, oh, we just do this, and all these things are getting thrown around out there. This is how you zero it, and this is how you don't, and you can lollipop it, you know, front side blade and red, and then bottom line was like no one was actually even using them right at first, you know. There was no sight alignment. It's look, put the red dot on it and fire, right? Like we were overcomplicating it right out of the gate because everyone was used to aligning 2 things, you know?
Yeah, right.
So like, well, this has to align with the front sight. And it's just funny kind of watching all that play out, looking back, you know, like, geez Louise.
And they had like the saddle mount up on top, the one you were using, right? For the red dot?
That one was just M68 alone.
Oh, really? Oh, right.
Just
Okay, got it.
stacked behind the irons, you know? So, and I kind of bring that up because, like, and that all played out, right? Like, obviously, like, no, you sighted in, you put it on what you wanted on. If that front sight happened to align,
Yeah.
all good. If it was zeroed and that all worked, and they were at the same height,
Yeah.
it can work, right? But really, it's just sight the red dot in for where you need it, and aim the red dot at the target, pull the trigger, right?
Yeah, look through it.
It's that simple,
Yeah.
right? And then ballistics is its own thing, right? But I hadn't had that moment. I had that, and then 22 years of military service, like shooting, using red dots on rifles, either as a primary or a secondary optic, and we'll get into the ACOG later on that. But I had that moment again with the shotgun.
Yeah, right.
Like here I am looking through a shotgun, always looking at the bead or looking through to
Down
shoot.
the rib.
Yeah, now I got this red dot in there, and I see the red dot, and I see the BB under it, and I'm like, lollipopping. No, don't do it, or you know, what are we after here? No, the red dot is, you know, when I'm zeroed, that's what counts.
Right.
And I had that moment again, and it just felt like what it felt like all the way back then. Even though I shoot red dot on all kinds of stuff, I'm having this moment with something new.
Right. Oh yeah, it's definitely new. It's great. It's new. People are gonna love it when they use it and get used to it. But it's a different iteration, and there's a lot of guys that are traditionalists sometimes when it comes to certain things, right?
I mean, we're very traditional type of people.
Correct.
Right. Like, no, I don't do that.
Right.
Because I've always shot with a BB.
Right.
You know, I'm not. Why would I put a red dot on it?
Yeah.
know? It's a natural in us.
Right.
You know?
And then you pair it with the suppressor, and like the RMR HD's got that 55 MOA segmented circle, and you realize that you can basically calibrate that to a pattern shot size at a specific distance.
Yeah,
and you know
which was
everything.
Amazing.
Yeah, oh, yeah, right.
This is my pattern. I can kind of see it in midair.
Right.
That was huge. I mean, just break down the wall, say, yeah, I'm going to try it, right? That's really what it was for me, and by the end of the day, I was loving it. Yeah. And I think it was kind of funny, right? So the Trijicon guy comes with us to shoot day one.
Yep.
We had 7 shotguns. One of them didn't have a red dot.
Correct.
Guess who got the one without it?
Yeah, me.
The Trijicon guy. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. It was like, the irony there is just, I'm like, okay. So you shot irons first day.
I did, yeah. First day I shot irons, yeah.
And then second day we swapped, right? And it was rough for me going back to no red dot.
Yeah, just to the
I kept
beads.
shooting under, and like I had to retrain myself back, and I'm just like man, I want that red dot back.
Yeah.
We had a couple guys going to pick up a goose down the field, and while he was gone, I grabbed his shot.
Yeah, I saw you looked at the one without it, and you looked at the one with it, and you were like, all right, and you grabbed the one that
I
had
went
it.
back to it, yeah, and those ones flew over
I was
the
like,
back,
oh, that's
and
a cool scene.
We dropped them right down.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I was
for
like,
sure.
yeah, I want that red dot now.
Yeah.
And
That would have
it
been like
just-
an awesome like clip to see you like reaching for the one that didn't have anything and being like, all right, grab that one over there.
it happened, you know. I was like, no, I want that back. I was hitting everything I was shooting at with
yeah.
it, and then I went back, and I'm like, no, now I'm shooting under, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it just kind of, it's natural progression. We're
Yeah.
kind of, you know, talking about we'll kind of go back to the ACOG then.
Yep.
It's like, we got issued ACOGs, and wow, I mean, magnification alone, right, it's just a thing, right? Like
Yep.
4 times closer makes it easier.
Right.
For us, it was, you know, you can identify what you're shooting at too. That's kind of a big deal.
Right.
That was huge, but it's always 4 power.
Yeah.
So, you know, advantages, disadvantages.
Right.
And I think the one we had the set of irons up on the left. So it had like ghost ring, like
Yeah.
a front sight
Oh,
post
yeah,
with
right.
a
The
rear
backups.
loop.
Yeah.
The backups. Those were great, you know, and just learning that. I think I had some advantage there too, like I guess just knowing how you can have a weapon system pointing here and have off-site weapons package or sight packages.
Yeah.
Like a Bradley, you know, you have a main gun, but your sight package is 4 feet to the right, 2 feet up, because that's where the operator is. It's
Right.
not mounted to the barrel, following the barrel. So I was okay with that, right? I got to know that, yeah, as long as they're aligned and when they move together. And
Just got to know your offset.
you know, your offset,
Yeah, right.
right? So having that set of irons over up to the left wasn't an issue for me. A lot of people fought that there. They're like, well, I'm off, you know, I'm way off. I'm like, you're off from the center of that reticle up and over that much. That's it. That's consistent.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no problem. That's consistent, you know, and that's not an issue. And
Right.
people would kind of fight that. I'd seen early on, and then same deal. It's like, well, let's just go out and shoot and see if it's an issue, and
It's not.
it's not.
Right.
Then our lasers and everything were kind of that same type of thing, right? They have an offset,
Yeah, right.
and then you guys stacked that RMR. That was really like,
Yeah, the backpack.
yeah, I'm like, this is cool. Now I got 4 power.
Right.
Come up off the optic a little, boom, there's a red dot.
Right.
This is something I can cook with, you know.
For sure.
And that was a big jump. I mean, really way ahead of its time, I think. And we're seeing stuff still getting there, you know, when that was turnkey, very, very good
Yep.
way to do business. And I felt like it was easily accepted back then, you know.
Yeah, for sure. On rifles, it was definitely accepted really quick right off the bat. When it went into it down the road, people started using them on pistols. And then there was a whole integration there of being on a slide ride pistol versus a revolver versus all that. And like the changes and innovation that went through there and just requirements for durability just to be able to handle that shock profile and stuff like that. Like where we went through and did just extensive testing, just thousands and thousands of rounds of stuff. And that's where you saw like the RMR jump up in its RMR 2.0, right? Mm-hmm. And then from there on, it's just like next iterations, the SRO, the RMR HD, the RCR, right? They're all just building on that durability profile from the original. So it's been a great progression. It's got a lot of people that maybe have issues seeing iron sights, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where then they can also then go back and just, like you were mentioning before, you see that red dot, you're like looking at your irons, how do I integrate this? And you just have to remember, like, I just put the red dot on what I want to shoot because it's parallax set, right?
Yeah, stop trying to line things
Right.
up. Just get
Which
it
is
done.
another huge thing for the shotgun setups.
It's a speed factor, right?
It's a speed factor. So think about when we were out there, right? It was 17 degrees. you've
Yeah.
got 5 layers of clothes on, right?
Yeah,
You
it
pull
was
your
really
gun
thick.
up and it catches in your coat.
It was.
And all you had to do was see that red dot, and you knew that's where that pattern was going, or that red segmented circle. You're like, all right, I'm in the window. Like, we're good.
I can get this.
Yeah,
done.
right. Shoot it.
It didn't have to be a perfect
Alignment.
shot every
Right.
time.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I mean, I was taught, using shotguns early on is like shoot and pull, looking down the pipe.
Yep. Aligning.
And
All alignment.
both eyes open.
Yeah.
Just get everything straight, fire away, and then learn lead, right?
Yeah.
Depending on bird type.
Yeah.
But that's really my extent. I wasn't a huge, every weekend bird hunter or anything.
Yeah.
But knew my way around the shotgun enough to get it done. But yesterday, really all that kind of went out the window. It was like but it was a retrain.
Oh, yeah.
It was a retrain, but man, just acquiring your target quicker, getting on it, like you said, not having to be perfect, not having to, is my barrel straight? Or it didn't matter.
No.
I just put it on it, pull the trigger,
Right.
geese drop.
And you can just, when you're done, you don't have anything in your ears. You can just talk, high five, like celebrate that awesome scenario, right?
Yep.
And it was absolutely amazing. I thought it was
That was
awesome.
just a
That's my
good
first
time.
time using a combo like this as well. So
Yeah,
for me,
so I
it was
got
very
used to-
new.
yeah, you
Right.
hadn't used the can.
Oh, ultra new. Yeah. So yesterday was the first day I've used a can or a red dot on a shotgun.
Oh,
so
it
for
was
me, it was
all,
like day one. Yeah, right. And I was like, this is where it's at for sure. And I'm a shotgun hunter. I've hunted my whole life for birds, waterfowl, all that. Like that's mostly what I've done. So like, I definitely love the traditionalist side of it, but like for stuff like that, it was like the perfect scenario. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, we were talking earlier, because I feel like it's an acceptance thing, and that's why we're trying to educate. And I never got issued a red dot for a pistol,
Okay.
so that integration never happened while I was there, even though 15 plus years ago we stacking red dots on ACOGs, and everyone's like, yeah, this is cool. But it was not happening with the pistol game. We didn't get them with we had Berettas at the time.
Right.
Didn't happen. And then towards the end, I got the M17, 320s basically.
Right.
No red dots. So I think now we're starting to see it being accepted more and more. But even, one of the biggest fighting forces in the world is just getting them to pistol.
Right.
Where basically as soon as I start separating from the Army and I start shooting a red dot on a pistol,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore, right? It makes me a faster shot. I
Right.
mean, there's a huge advantage is the whole market has accepted it, right? It's
Right.
not even been a thing.
And it's the same. Like there was a longer lead in, right? That like changing that changed everything related to holster fitment.
Yeah,
Right.
whole
So if you think about
different game
anything, all that carrying gear that you've got has to change slightly. If there was a cut out there, you could do it easily. But you get into the multiple layers of retention for certain like groups, right?
Yep.
Like 1, 2, 3 layer retention systems, and you have to get around that whole package as well. So like there was a little bit of a delay as far as getting through to that. But like once people see how effective the red dot is on a pistol, it's like talking about the parallax. You put that dot and you're good to go on whatever you want to go at. There's not necessarily an alignment for that iron.
Right,
Not that you don't want to have a backup, right?
Yeah, I mean, secondary is great. Oh, yeah, you're talking about backups.
Backup irons, yeah.
Yeah, I still feel like
Yeah.
that can't go away,
Right.
or shouldn't go away. I mean, anything can fail, so having a backup's a good plan, and
Yeah.
that's why I instantly liked those irons on the ACOG.
Yeah.
I thought, no, this is because the whole idea. We even talked earlier about, well, let's make it quick release. So
Right.
if it breaks, I can pull my optic off real
Right.
quick
And swap it.
and use irons.
Yeah.
Well, I've been an Army private, and I've been an Army NCO and Army First Sergeant. No, you're not pulling your optic off. You're going to lose it. So do not pull that thing off. Matter of fact, I want you to wire it on, tie it on,
Yeah.
because a lost optic in the field is a no-go. So
Right. Well, that's where you could use something
Integrating
like
it,
this, like
yeah.
some sort of integrated system, right?
integrating
Yeah.
is the way, not take it off. That's not realistic, I don't feel like. So if you put it on, you want to leave it on, keep it zeroed, and
Yeah, keeping everything good.
yeah. We talked a little bit about thermals. I think clip-on thermals is a no-brainer. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
being quick release there is a thing because you got day and night operations, things like that.
Yeah.
Or sharing it on a different host or going handheld with it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this thing needs to be able to move, but I think the integration of a backup site and just having it part of the system
Yeah.
is key. And so you run that side on the pistol side,
Yep.
right?
It's iron sight side. Yep. So like you're going to see that natural progression as pistols are moving towards red dots. The iron sight is also going to follow that. So that's where you're seeing like multiple iterations of heights there, right? So depending on a lot of pistols, if they're not direct mount, you're going to get some sort of attachment modular system there to get that red dot or a different red dot out there. Like whatever you need to get, you're going to have to follow that system and how high that plate thickness is with an iron sight, so you get that backup. So that's why you'll see in our iron sights are like more and more height variations, just so you can get exactly what you need to get you that lower, like 1/4, 1/3 co-witness that you want.
What are you seeing mostly? People want 1/3 or 1/4?
Yeah, usually it's lower 1/3, 1/4 around there. So just in the bottom, just so you can still see that front tritium lamp, just so it's great for any of that stuff if you needed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
And then with how many? I mean, you did all this. You worked a lot with suppressor height sites too, correct?
Yeah, actually, I launched our Trijicon first set of suppressor sites when I started in engineering in like 2012. So it's kind of funny. It's come like full circle back to me. Yeah, right. So now I'm the product manager for iron sights. So that's actually really kind of funny. And it's kind of neat. So yeah, getting to see the different iterations, what the market's looking for as far as that goes, and then being able to push that and drive new innovation in that category is sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I think no question you guys dominated that market piece, right? Of suppressor height sights, like you are the go-to.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and we try to like Mariglow is a great option. Like we've got a whole bunch of options for those heights. If you have anything Glock oriented, we will crush whatever you want, and you can get pretty much any height you want on anything for those.
Oh wow!
So we do multiple OEMs, but yeah, they're a fabulous company as well. So
good.
Anything we got, everything's military tough, like all the way around. So
yeah, you guys are known for just durability, straight up.
We try to. We want to support everyone we can for that. So
yeah.
Yep.
Well, what was cool about this Beretta yesterday? This new one they're making, it's cut.
Oh yeah, right. They integrated it right into the slide or into the chassis.
Yeah, it's like turnkey, ready to go, nice and low on the gun.
Oh yeah.
I didn't feel like I was doing the raise thing, at all. I just cheek weld was awesome.
Yep. It was a great setup.
Just felt normal, right? It wasn't a big jump. It was new, like I said. I had that moment,
Yep. And they're RMR cut, so you're direct. You don't have a plate system there that you got to worry about. So they're able to sink that footprint right down into that chassis and get you to where you're almost dead on a line with that. So you get that traditional feel, right? Looking down that shotgun.
It was. It didn't feel way out of place at all. And I don't know. I like the cut-ins. They just feel like durability. Like it's not a adapter plate.
It's less moving parts.
Less moving parts to fail, especially on a shotgun. There's a fair amount of recoil going on there.
Oh yeah.
I just.
But with your suppressor on there, like their kickies system on the back of the gun, like it was a light shooting setup. Like even though
I got shot that all day. I never had a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, my shoulder.
You're shooting goose loads and it's just like, oh man, this is no big deal. Or they rock you if you got like something that's just like a pump gun or something like that. These things were amazing.
Yeah, I could have went for days like that.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah, so we focus a lot on, we went for practicality when we made our shotgun can.
Okay.
And lightweight, I don't know. I mean, you had to swing it yesterday. Did you? And the day before, what did you feel like?
I didn't really even realize it. I'm not gonna lie. Like realize that it was there. Didn't notice it. I know like throughout my shooting history, a lot of guys, and I've seen people on the range that shoot like sporting clays or trap, like they're actually adding weight to their barrel anyway, because when you're shooting, like it helps them do a follow through when they shoot.
Gotcha.
So like for me, it was like, oh, this is pretty sweet, right?
Feels
like it's
good,
already there, forces you to swing. If you're a person that kind of will pull the trigger and stop, it'll kind of pull you a little bit where you need to be to get that shot just like perfect. It was actually great. Yeah, it was nice.
Sweet.
So,
oh, I'm glad.
Yep.
Seems like it worked out then.
Oh, it worked great. I loved it.
Yeah. So we've been shooting them with and without red dots. You know, like I said, we actually have some guns that have red dots, but I hadn't been using one personally.
Yeah.
And my natural aim and everything is swing on a shotgun. I could look right through the suppressor.
Right.
2 eyes open, never really, because it does, you know, cover the bead. Right?
Yeah, like with the diameter.
Yeah, you know, it's right there.
Yeah.
But same thing, like it kind of gets in your head, and then you're like, oh, I don't know if I can see through it. And then we go out and shoot, and you're like, well, it didn't really matter.
Didn't matter at all.
You know, I just needed to go out and do it.
Yep.
So then yesterday to bring in that red dot in it actually is above the can, just because a little bit of the height.
Height offset, yeah.
So for any of those guys that are kind of concerned about that, I think it alleviates that as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then shooting like both eyes open, right? Like generally, like we always refer to it as bending aiming concept for our like ACOG. You shoot both eyes open, and if you went into like a CQB scenario, your left eye, because that 4 power's there, is gonna get occluded with the magnification. You're gonna actually see with your left eye. I'm sorry I said that wrong. You're gonna see with your left eye, and all you're gonna do is overlay that ACOG reticle onto the target, just like you would a red dot anyway.
Yep.
So like a lot of people were trained that way, but this is the same thing. When stuff gets close, and if it is occluded like that, you're gonna look with both eyes. It's gonna see that duck. You're gonna overlay that dot based on that, and it's gonna be right there. So
yeah, I feel like I was lucky. My dad taught me to shoot with both eyes open.
Yeah,
like always. You know, we'd hunt game, so why would you? Well, we'd even say this. I mean, do you drive your vehicle with one eye? You know, like you want to go down the road and shut one eye? Like, don't get into this scenario that could be tougher and take half of your vision away. Like,
right.
Leave them open. And so I was lucky to know that. But a lot of people got taught, shut one eye, you know. And even struggling to try to learn how to shut one eye. And it's like, for the most part, everything I've done, like, you can get it done both eyes open. And And there are scenarios where it can be better to shut that eye, but for the most part, like yesterday, both eyes open on the shotgun, that dot was right there, that circle was right there, everything was falling into place, and we were just getting it done.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
It's great times for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you guys got anything on the horizon coming out, or?
I mean, you can't really get into a whole bunch of stuff, but like we got some stuff coming out here in the next year, some very cool stuff. Q1 for next year we'll have some stuff, and then later on in the year we've got some interesting stuff coming out. So,
and these scope rings are fairly new, aren't they? Or?
Yeah, we launched those last year, our Q-Lock rings, last January. So we offer multiple variations. 30 millimeter, 34, 35 millimeter. Perfect. And then we've got 4 heights of each set of rings. So we did a whole launch of, it was like 50 SKUs of new mounts last year.
Oh, wow.
So these are all that part. We've got the accessory front ring here, and then the riser. We offer 3 different risers. We've got them for our RMR and our RMR CC. So say you had a different setup than this one right here, where you've got like a low cap. You can run this in the back where you wouldn't necessarily need to see your dial.
Gotcha.
It gets a little bit closer to your face. So, but we basically covered the whole gamut of what we needed for mounts with that launch. Kind of now everything we've got is wrapped up, and you can do whatever you need to with that mount setup. So they're great little mounts, very accurate and repeatable. Like you were talking earlier, you can take them off. They've got a spring-loaded knob on the side with the Q-Lock knob. Oh, yeah, it's great.
I mean,
like doing the one-handed, like hold it in place and try to
hold it in place, little tiny nuts, right? Putting the scope on gets tricky. So
so like with that on there, it'll just hold it right there while you mount the rest of the optic. They're great. I love them. So but yeah, very good stuff. And then, being able to run the accessories, we had multiple new mounts for like MROs and stuff like that are very high. Like you're talking about running your ACOG back in the day that gets you up off the optic. Yeah. There's a lot of guys these days that want to run like a 2 1/4 inch tall red dot. So they're up, their head's not down on the gun. They're kind of held up a little bit. Helps you run with like night vision or anything like that.
Night vision, you're already up off of it. You know, kind of one of those, we just didn't know what we didn't know back then.
Right.
I mean, even the M68 I was issued had a spacer way back then that raised it up, and I ran it.
Okay.
You know, but you kind of go on that back and forth. Do I want good cheek welds, or do I want a good sight picture? And like, what's more important?
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, like a better sight picture is going to get the job done.
Oh yeah.
Especially close quarters. Like you need to get around on target quickly. You know, not how's my cheek feel. You know.
Yeah. Right.
A hole in you doesn't feel real great. So
Agreed. Yeah. Right.
yeah, I think you guys were it was already natural progression. We just weren't kind of ready for it, right? You're like, I don't know why, or it doesn't always get explained the why, you know, or
Right.
this is better. And
Well,
that's
like
kind of what we're trying to do here, right?
The whole reason we're out here doing this, you see it firsthand. You can talk to it. You can push it, right?
Yeah,
Like, look,
you
we need
gotta
to do
go
this,
put it
right?
in the field,
Yeah, right.
and get it done, right?
Yeah,
And
this
we
is
did
something
it.
that we need to do. So
Yeah,
definitely.
I can't go back.
I know.
I can't go back to a shotgun without the red dots.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm definitely gonna have to talk to both you guys and be like, hey, I need to get a setup here.
Yeah,
like, what's it gonna cost me?
Setting up the mill in the back and cutting in the cuts on all of our shotguns, and yeah, we're gonna have to get a bunch of these in and
for sure
get them set up. So.
Yeah, being able to see that segmented circle for me and like know that that's what that shot pattern was roughly at that distance that's awesome.
Really cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we set up some indoor targets after the hunt.
Yep.
And just check shot pattern, right?
Yeah, just to see where we were.
So
yeah.
Put it up, shot at would be 30.
Yep.
30 yards, and we stepped it back
then
to
50.
50
Right.
and checking the reticle versus the patterning, and everything was right.
Oh yeah,
where
it was
supposed
awesome.
to be,
Yeah, right. And like for duck hunting, that's huge. Like I feel like people that turkey hunt have already used the red dots for a little bit.
Yeah, they've integrated, right?
Yeah.
They're through that already.
Right. But like, yeah, having a suppressor on there is going to be that like next step even, right? It's going to be great. It's
Really cool.
Yep.
And I like the fact that, you know, bottom line is like the BB isn't always dead on.
Right.
There's a little room for improvement there.
Yep.
Like our shot was a little up and to the left.
Right.
Right. Well, red dot, now I can actually sight that shotgun in.
Right.
I can get it dead on, and that all those little bitty things add up.
Well, and you guys have your end caps you can adjust too, right? Depending on what you want to do.
Yeah,
right?
We were changing that pattern,
Yeah,
right? The shot group for different ranges.
For different range, yeah, right.
Yeah, close range.
We
mid-range,
were
long
money
range.
at 50 yards. Like that's a long ways.
Yeah, it was. Everyone was shocked that it stayed in the 30-inch circle,
it was
right?
perfect. Yeah, right.
So, no, I think it's going to be a cool integration. It's just, I just say this, like if you're struggling with the idea of it, just go try it.
Yeah, right.
That's what we did, right? We were like, well, let's just go out and shoot for
see what it's like. Yeah, right. Yeah,
and it was a good time.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me out. Yeah,
making
for sure.
the journey from Michigan.
Yeah,
coming out to Idaho.
definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys got coming out.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.